On Business Center, Thursday, August 30th, 2001. For the third straight day, the Dow posts a triple-digit decline. Trouble in techland, worries about the consumer, and signs that Europe isn't coming to the rescue aggressively, and many on Wall Street wondering when the summer slide will stop.
From Tony the Tiger to the Golden R2, the biggest brands are carving out new niches, targeting the growing Hispanic population. Tonight, a special look at the latest products striving to add a little flavor to your daily diet.
Plus, the list looks at 5 legendary stocks of the fall. Next.
CNBC presents Business Center, live from the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. Here now, Ron Insana and Sue Herrera.
Coming up next on Business Center, we'll take a look at America's booming Hispanic market and at how American companies are making it a high-priority marketing target. This month, McDonald's restaurants in southern Florida are testing new items on their menu. The new dishes are aimed specifically at the growing Hispanic population, and it's part of a trend developing new products aimed at Hispanics that got a boost when the 2000 census revealed there are many more Hispanics in the U.S. than was previously estimated. Michelle Caruso-Cabrera has the story of the Latin trend in American marketing.
Big brands have been aiming at the Latin market for a long time. Hispanic marketer Carlos Santiago says the approaches were sometimes simplistic.
They changed the messaging to fit the different cultural nuances of the Hispanic market, but very few corporations actually changed the product. And that's the ultimate differentiation strategy and the one that is most likely to win customers.
So McDonald's is now testing a new menu in South Florida, featuring new products like a Cuban sandwich, a Latin omelet, and for dessert, a dulce de leche McFlurry.
Another product featuring dulce de leche, which is a traditional Latin candy, is out this month from M&M Mars. It is the new flavor of M&M's, and it's being introduced in 5 markets with large Hispanic populations.
It's changing the product itself to fit the actual desires of the customers.
I think there's been a lot of corporations that have been asleep at the wheel.
Dolores Cunda is president of Lapis, the Hispanic arm of advertising giant Leo Burnett. She says corporate America is waking up. Just look in a Hispanic neighborhood and you'll see major brands like MasterCard, Rite Aid, and Payless Shoes, all trying to attract Spanish-speaking customers.
The number of Hispanics in this country has reached a new high.
The reason? The 2000 census found a 58% rise in the Hispanic population since 1990. More than 35 million people call themselves Hispanic, almost the same as African Americans and more than the population of Canada. Kunda believes corporate America sees opportunities in a slowing marketplace.
What are you going to do to grow your business? What are you going to look for? Who are you going to look towards as the new market for your product? And if you take a look at what is happening in the United States in terms of demographics, and you take a look at how the demographics are changing in this country, you have to look at the Hispanic marketplace.
And the purchasing power of Hispanics is growing even faster than the population.
The buying power is growing at about 7.5% per year. And that makes the new buying power at around $560 billion for this year and $630 billion for the year 2002.
Some see the rise in the Hispanic market beginning a few years ago, when pop culture started celebrating Latin artists like Ricky Martin and Jennifer Lopez.
I mean, God bless the celebrities. That's all I can say, because they've really focused the attention on this marketplace.
Liz Claiborne believes the Hispanic style is so hot, they've come up with Mambo, a Latin-influenced fragrance. The $20 million launch is aimed at all women and men, not just Hispanics. Neil Katz is president of Liz Claiborne Cosmetics.
Hispanic is hip, Hispanic is cool, and the coolest people, everybody wants to copy. And that's what's happening.
But long before there was Ricky Martin, there was Goya. This family-run business is the granddaddy of Hispanic marketers. COO Andy Unanue expects sales at Goya to increase 10 to 20% annually in the next few years. He says corporate America is now pursuing the market for real.
I think we're beyond the lip service. And I think that's important. I think not only for those companies, but for the culture to understand that people are accepting them.
And corporate America is doing a lot more than pushing sandwiches and candy. Citibank has purchased the Mexican bank Banamex.
Talking about buying a huge product like Banamex, a brand entity larger than almost no other in Mexico, and saying we are buying this bank to bring Banamex into the Mexican-American market in the U.S. That's pretty bold.
Hispanic purchasing power will double by the year 2010. And unlike immigrant groups that came before them, Hispanics are keeping their language, their food, and their customs. So expect more products and services in Espanol.
They have access to radio, television, newspapers in Spanish. They can telephone Latin America very easily. You also have a community in the U.S. that has gotten to be so big that it dominates certain parts of the country. One of the funny jokes that Latin Americans make about Miami is, Miami, such a beautiful city and so close to the United States.
And it doesn't end with just M&Ms and McDonald's. Haagen-Dazs has actually had a dulce de leche ice cream out for a long time. It's one of their best sellers. Smucker's has just introduced a dulce de leche spread, so you can make a peanut butter and caramel sandwich. And then it's not just food either. Hasbro has introduced the newest G.I. Joe, or should I say G.I. Jose. His name is Master Sergeant Roy Benavides. He's named after a real Hispanic who won the Congressional Medal of Honor. So I think we're going to see a lot more of these too and run. I think we probably will too, and probably a boost to the bottom lines of the companies that produce them. Thank you. Michelle, basically, why do you think it took so long? We're going to talk more about this, obviously, in our in-depth, but I remember when I moved from California back east, California has a large Hispanic population. I was surprised that the product took so long to get back east. I think it was the census that was really the peg for a lot of these corporations to wake up and say, oh my goodness, there are a lot of folks out there. And I think the two things happened at once. You have the census, which kind of woke them up. And then in addition, you had a slowdown in the economy, and you now have companies looking for a place to find growth. You've got inelastic demand at certain levels among regular consumers. Now you've got Hispanics with actually growth. All right, Michelle, thanks very much. Michelle Caruso-Cabrera. And as I mentioned in tonight's Business Center In-Depth, we will take a look at niche marketing and how advertising is evolving to meet the changing face of America and how you can profit from it as well.